Street.
I'm just sitting at work and it all of a sudden came out of
So
nowhere.
yeah, let me start it from the beginning. Actually, before we get into this, I'm gonna change the title of the stream. It was like Inception. Inception. Ooh. So let's make the new title Reflecting on...
You know, we're living in a society.
Has collapsed. World Trade Center Building 7.
I have the sound drops bound to numbers, so when I typed 10, it did the sound drops. Reflecting on 10 years since Occupy Wall Street.
You know, we're living in a society.
Yes. Reflecting on 10 years since Occupy Wall Street. Alright. So, I mean, I'm just putting it out there. A big reason why I'm interested in Occupy Wall Street, let me make sure my audio levels aren't weird. Let me maybe turn this down a little bit. I'm really interested in Occupy Wall Street because just straight up, like, that is basically when I became, like, left wing. I mean, I'm very left wing. I would say I am a communist, you know, that's how I'd say it. But then again, I'm not trying to, like, use the show to, like, proselytize my political beliefs exactly, but I'd say I became left wing when I was in college. First heard about Occupy Wall Street from, like, a girl I had a crush on, basically. She told me about, like, the whole 99% versus 1%, and I was really intrigued by that. And at the same time, I was in, like, an intro to philosophy class where they were talking about Marx, so I was really into the whole thing. I could go more into my experience with Occupy as we go on, but let's hear this out a little bit.
And his nose was bleeding when the cops saw him, and all this bullshit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know? It's a way the system brutalizes us.
Yeah. And the press, of course, just grabs on it.
Exactly. It is. And they don't like to make the connections, you know, that we're now descending into a police state.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, they'll never say that.
No. It's really like the neoliberals, like they want less.
Wow.
Shame. I need to get better with the soundboard. I tried to hit a sound drop and it like fricked up the clip. But okay, the thing I want to make a point about that is, you know, I think people have a tendency to think that this idea that we live in a police state or that like the police are out of control, like I feel like people act like no one knew that until George Floyd happened. I'm being a little facetious, but you know, people also say like the left was dead 10 years ago. The left is more alive now, when it's like these people are more woke than your average person nowadays. Now, I get it, it's two people, but I'm just saying, like, people have a very, like, short-term view of where we were at politically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, they'll never say that.
No. It's really like the neoliberals, like they want less government except a bigger police.
Yeah, right. And
course.
police... Giggity, 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 giggity.
I'm sorry, my damn soundboard.
Protecting us from terrorists to create a police state.
Yeah, that's classic cop behavior.
Stop police brutality! Stop! Stop! Stop police brutality! Stop! Stop! Stop police brutality! Stop! Stop! Stop police brutality! Stop!
They are here to protect the public. So just one of the many absurd ironies of this march against police brutality, where the police themselves are being brutalized, I believe, by the forces that are putting them in conflict with their fellow citizens.
Okay, that guy, I mean, that guy is kind of an idiot, honestly. Like, I do not think of it that way. Like, police aren't being brutalized by having to brutalize, like, workers or people protesting. Like, that is not, like, I mean, I get what he's saying. He's saying police are victims because they're just, like, tools to oppress, but, like, I mean, they do choose to do that, and they seem to get a lot of joy out of it, so... what does that say for real? Like, I don't know. I'm not really buying his angle about it. But right now, I'm also trying to make my soundboard play without freaking up the audio. So let's see this. Let's see if I can figure it out.
Alright. Text me if anything.
Hey, Ray, you need anything?
Yeah.
I'm all right.
You okay?
Yeah, you guys want to help me out there?
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
Just check his consciousness, make sure that he's...
Yeah, no, I
because he seems a little dizzy.
Did he fall?
He got hit by some...
He fell and they hit him in the head.
Just putting a little bit of a splint on it so we can try to get him somewhere else.
Alright, let me try to fix this real quick.
You know, we're living in a society.
Here, I'll play one of the Society songs.
This is William Hung, and you're listening to the Society Show.
How to turn off hotkeys in YouTube. This is a new keyboard, so I make mistakes on it a lot. Okay, I don't want the... How do I turn this crap off? Shift question mark. Alright, I am going to hide my desktop for this because I'll be going into my Google settings. So it says go to setting.
What you say?
So here's the deal.
Okay, I'm going to this freaking Reddit thread. Like, they seem to know how to do this. Go to... Okay, so the URL, let's... Chrome. Flags.
Hi there, my name is Suzy, and this is the Society.
Okay, here we go. I found a way to turn off these freaking things, and then I can just do my stream as I intended to.
I'm listening.
Alright, fixed it. It should be fixed. Thank God.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Just check his consciousness, make sure that he...
And then we can get back to this documentary. Alright, here we go. Make that visible again. Where is it? There we go. And then I can hide some of these GIFs too. I like the monkeys dancing. Maybe I'll move them. There we go. That's better.
Yeah, no, because he seems a little dizzy.
Did he fall?
He got hit by some... He fell and then they hit him in the head. Just putting a little bit of a splint on it so we can try to get him somewhere else.
This host, he's such a dope. I don't like him.
Marching up Broadway, talking to the people, reaching out. Some of the people, you know, are a little confused, but they're intrigued because they know what's going on. Just need a little bit of encouragement to join in. Movement for all of us. Your movement.
Wait, this guy, so he's wearing this Harry Potter shirt. Doesn't he look like he'd be a character in Harry Potter? Like, I hope that's not mean, but he does have a very quality to him. But also, the thing I wanted to point out is, like, I guess if you juxtapose the protests that were in the summer of 2020, mostly after George Floyd, if you juxtapose those with Occupy Wall Street, it has a very different vibe to it. Like, the way Occupy Wall Street is being presented in this is it's almost like they're like, oh, the people are finally rising up, and then once, like, some of them rise up, they'll all join in. And part of that is the fact that this documentary is talking about the Occupy Wall Street protests very deliberately in the same way that the U.S. press talked about the Arab Spring. This host, later on, shortly, because I watched a few bits of this yesterday, later on, he will like explicitly say this is the American Spring. And I think these types of protest movements were just being presented in a very idealistic way, like the way it is in The Matrix or like V for Vendetta or something, like kind of not in a way that really is applicable to reality. Whereas the George Floyd protests were a lot more material in nature, and they were a lot more clear about what their intentions were. In fact, if I remember right, this lady, she's gonna say, I get it, but I don't really know what their intentions are.
I think that that's raising a lot of awareness. I think it's good. I think that the agenda needs to become a little more clear for us to be able to actually get things accomplished, but I think the heart of it is beautiful, and I think it's good. I mean, hopefully that something will come out of this
I'm just sitting at work and it all of a sudden came out of nowhere. This is great. Good luck.
You know, we're living in a society.
Another world is possible. We are unstoppable.
Wow.
As long as you guys are safe, I am just worried about those cops and all
Wow.
the things they have.
It's my middle finger to the police department for brutality, for beating people up for no reason.
Yeah, that's right.
Beating people for what?
That's
So
a
what?
badass
People up for
candle.
no excessive force, it's retarded, man.
For locking people up on trumped up jokes.
One second. I'm gonna change the category to politics because I feel like I don't really get how Twitch works. Like, I barely watch Twitch streams, but I feel like that will help because it's more specific than just chatting. So maybe that's a dumb idea. I don't know, but let's watch.
Charges. Yep. Doesn't make any sense.
All right, you're gonna get to see the office of Occupy.com. It's the newest media platform for the Occupy movement, for the 99%. I don't think any press has been here yet, so come on in. 6 companies, corporations, own the entire mass media in this country. We have to create our own media platforms, and Occupy.com is going to be one of those. People can kind of see connect with the website, connect with the community, and get activated with Occupy Wall Street. It's pretty exciting. We got our big May Day action coming up, so general strike. Pretty excited about that. But the site just launched, so there's a lot of work to do.
So I just want to comment on the idea of general strike. Like, I think general strikes are an amazing idea. Like, I really do. But I also think they're functionally as hard to pull off as just like a straight up revolution or something. Like, the amount of organization required to properly pull off a general strike is, I think, almost impossible for your average leftist in the US to understand. The reason I say that is Occupy Wall Street was generally kind of spontaneous, or it was banking on the spontaneous uprising of other people to kind of join in. But the issue is that's barely enough to sustain a protest movement, as we saw with Occupy. I mean, it sustained it for a while, but what both a continuous protest movement as well as a general strike needs is a lot more organization than the US left already has. So this whole oh, we're gonna have a general strike, that's fine and good, but for that to actually mean something, you gotta start doing other things first. And people are always vague about what the other things are, but I mean, that's just kind of the issues, figuring out what are those most effective things to get people to pay attention and work with and participate in these mass uprising moments.
Really nothing to lose, I guess, right? A lot of young people with nothing to lose. should have been born in ancient Greece or, you know, the 60s or something.
Ancient Greece or the
Realize that
60s.
This is exactly the time that I'm supposed to live in. This is exactly.
Hey now.
What the? I thought I turned off these freaking key binding crap.
Locking people up on trumped up jump.
Connect with the.
Yeah, we already saw this.
I always used to think I was born in the wrong time.
Yeah, we remember that one.
So here's the deal.
What you say? All the time.
Damn it. Let's start off. Yeah, okay, let's start here. That's fine. If I do it here, I can do the soundboard.
I'm listening.
What you say? Just like free speech, with none of the risks. Come on in, enjoy. It's fun for the entire family. It's completely safe. We have at least 5 officers for every protester, so you'll never be in harm's way. Enjoy that, sir. Hope that 401k is performing for you. You want to save your money. You want to keep your money from being taken again like 2008. I don't know about you, but if I get mugged, I don't go to the same neighborhood again. Okay? That's just stupid. Here's some information. Don't worry about what my demands are. I want to know what your demands are. What are your demands and why don't you have any? What's wrong with you? You just like to watch television? You have no demands? What's wrong? I don't think you're very happy with your job, with your health care, with the way the government is colluding with moneyed interests and your vote not really mattering anymore.
Wow.
If you don't do anything about it, then guess what? You get the democracy you deserve.
Okay,
And
this
right
guy's
now,
kind
this
of
is
a
the
dork.
democracy we deserve. Heavily policed, heavily enforced. Don't step too far out into the sidewalk because you're gonna have to move back.
I mean, we've all, if you've been to a protest, you have seen a guy
It's
exactly
totally fun
like
and
this.
safe for the entire family. No trip to New York would be.
I am going to tweet out the stream again, see if I could get some more people in there.
A third building has collapsed. World Trade Center Building 7.
You know, we're living in a society.
Alright, let's see if that gets more people in. Okay, let's
Complete without a visit
watch
to
some
Occupy
more.
Wall Street. These are 100% original protesters, the genuine article, accept no imitations. These are the real Occupy Wall Street protesters. Today is no more freedom. My name's Fred. I'm a graphic designer.
Fred.
I'm down here on my lunch hour
I mean,
because
Fred's
I
a
support
normal.
changes to the
It's just
financial
funny to do that.
and regulatory system that are going to make the system a lot more saner.
Okay, another thing, my mic is only coming through one side. Let me see if I can fix that.
The purpose of the action, we are building our capacity. We're doing a spring training. We're gonna get all pumped up and psyched and do some like tactics, do some exercises, do some jumping jacks and push-ups, and we're gonna march on Wall Street just so that they know that we're coming for them on May Day and after all summer. This is just training. We're just training. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for everything.
Another thing we can do is start combining some of these commands. So you can wall up. And then melt. While in a wall. When you melt. While walled up. You don't lie all the way down. You go into a sitting position. So let's give it a try. When we sit down like this, it's still really important to make sure that everyone's still really tight. It's a lot easier to grab people when they aren't really close together and they can grab each other back. So let's see how close together we can get without hurting each other here. Good stuff. All right, civilians!
Well, it's like in spring training and sports, you do it to build discipline, work together as a team, build cohesion, and so that's what we're doing. And we're inviting people in every week to participate with us, and hopefully we'll get really tight and really solid, and be able to turn on a dime and have some discipline for all of our actions coming up. And get some, spread some knowledge, create some vocabulary that we could use to do all those actions.
This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Yeah, I've heard that song, that chant a lot back then.
Here we go. Close the gap. 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 There are no signs here. No trespassing. But on the other side, it can say nothing. That side was me, you and me. Hey, this land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me.
I want my microphone to come out both speakers.
Right now we are at the Fort Greene Occupy Town Square. And Occupy Town Square is a roving pop-up occupation that shows up in a different park each weekend.
Here
And
we
the idea
go,
is to
device
set up in the park. It's
properties.
open, people can come in, there's food, there's music, there's games, there's information about Occupy, about General Strike on May 1st, and it's an outreach opportunity for the community to come and see us. Instead of them having to come to us, we come to them. That's the idea.
This is the Wheel of Immorality. It proposes various outcomes, all misfortunate, all unfortunate, for people to discover. They feature these OccuCards, which are, they reveal the unfortunate circumstances that we all live in right now. Some terrible facts about Monsanto, the GMO company, prison industrial complex, climate change, which is already happening. And when you land on one of these, which happens arbitrarily, I just stop the wheel whenever I want to, because I'm the controller of this wheel of misfortune. You get one of these
The Guy
cards,
Fawkes mask.
and you get to learn about the terrible situation you're in.
Can you just do one so I can take a picture? I wasn't able to grab the picture. Either one of you.
Why don't you do it?
No, I don't want to be in the picture because I'm tweeting it. You don't tweet a picture of yourself in it. Yeah. I tweet about what's going on. I take pictures of people, the artwork, the different booths. Tweet it out to everybody. Maybe people will come out when they see it. Let them know that we're here. And that's really my favorite thing to do, is to tweet and to use Twitter as a means to do both outreach to the larger community, inreach within the movement, and communication between occupations,
Here we
between
go, I
people within
figured
the
it out.
occupation. And also as a means of getting new resources and requesting things that we need, whether it be food or clothing or support or people or cameras or money or whatever it may be. We put out our calls on the internet, and people are very generous, and they send us.
actually wanted to help because I thought it was very, very important that the movement was able to sustain itself over the winter so that we were still together and working, and I think it's important to feed the soldiers, so to speak, to feed the warriors. So I felt I could have my best impact by helping to feed the warriors and the people who go out and put themselves on the front lines to get arrested and to really be in the face of people to let them know what's going on, and I really respect what they're doing. So if I can feed them to keep them going, because I personally myself can't go to jail.
I like that lady.
I'm really supportive of the kids who go out there and
She's pretty
are
cool.
trying to really make a difference and show people what's going on.
Mayor Bloomberg is trying to make it illegal to distribute donated food under the pretext that it's a health issue. So, maybe I'm just being paranoid, but my feeling is that this is, his way of trying
Damn
to
it.
sort
I
of
want it to come out both ears.
stop our actions, stop our feeding of the people.
Well, yes. Actually, stopping us. See all these cops? Like they're starting a business, or
Test.
we don't. Why would we?
From doing something.
Test.
Yeah, we get arrested all the time for feeding people. We get arrested for feeding people.
What are you doing in your community?
So that is who's stopping us. This oppressive state is stopping us from providing mutual aid to people, because every time we feed people, every time we provide someone with free food, that's taking.
Alright, I'm sorry this first stream is just me like troubleshooting crap, but hopefully you don't mind my microphone sounds like shit. Yeah.
We volunteer at soup kitchens and food pantries all the time.
Wow.
Beating down our doors, preventing us from giving away free food.
Fuck.
Because the Catholic Church feeds more people on the face of the planet than anybody else, and no government's like banging down our doors to stop us.
That's such crap, the Catholic Church.
You pay for regulations on those foods. Why should we pay for regulations
Catholic
on our food?
people are so irritating.
Where we can have a community of trust and giving, where we don't have to
I'm
have
listening.
those fears of somebody poisoning our food, of somebody handling it wrong, where we can just accept what people give to us.
But yeah, I mean, this documentary, it's not as interesting as I thought. There's some cool footage in it. I will say, like, my own personal history with Occupy Wall Street. So I was living in Portland at the time, and like I said earlier in the stream, like, a girl I knew was like, told me about all the 99%, 1% stuff.
Wow.
And I was pretty intrigued by it, and at the same time, I was in Intro to Philosophy, and the professor was talking about Marx and stuff.
Wow.
So I go to Occupy Wall Street, or Occupy Portland rather. I go to the first protest where they marched and went like around downtown. And I remember enjoying it, having a great time there, but there was one thing that I feel like can point to like the singularly defining thing that like informed my thought process about politics. Well, maybe that's reductive, but I remember a lot of people praising the cops for not being violent. Here, I'll make my face bigger, because I'm probably not going to watch any more of that documentary. And sorry my camera is so bad, honestly, like straight up. Let me get the monkey out of the way. But yeah, the thing that really changed my political view is after Occupy Wall Street, there were so many people I knew who were like, oh, it went so well, the cops didn't even try to stop us. And I remember thinking, like, And this was from a pretty apolitical person. Like, if the cops weren't trying to stop you, then that means that what you're doing isn't a threat to how things are right now. And so I became very like skeptical of the way that Occupy Wall Street was being portrayed, because it was a little too kumbaya, and I was like, it can't really be kumbaya if something meaningful changes from it. That was my perspective, and that's still generally my perspective now.
Wow.
But I will say that, like, Occupy Portland, they ended up settling their, like, main camp area really close to where I lived at the time.
What you say?
And I would go down there just occasionally, basically, like, as something to do, like a hobby. I never camped there or anything. I'm not that type of guy. Not a big camper. In fact, I don't think I've ever been camping.
So here's the deal.
But, so, for example, one time I went down to where Occupy Portland was, and, what's his name? Michael Moore was there. It was on Halloween, too, and he had showed up there for a speech.
You know, we're living in a society.
And so that was pretty cool. I saw Michael Moore in person without expecting it either. And then I also went down to Occupy Portland when it was the last night and they were closing it up. So I had some connection to it in Portland, and I thought it was fun, but I also really recognize its failings, and because of that, I have mixed feelings about it, but it is a moment where I became politically aware. Let's see if there's anything more to this documentary. I will start it and then be back in like 5 seconds. Well, let me just have to go check something.
All right. Text me if anything.
Hey, Ray, you need anything?
Yes.
Oh, we were already here. Let me.
Yeah, you guys want to help me out though?
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
Just check his consciousness, make sure that he's.
But it's good because we are feeding a good number of people. We do so for a pretty small cost. And then we had a budget like that. So Occupy Wall Street as an entity got something like $700,000 in donations. So the kitchen has a budget too. Actually, we just recently ran out of money, but but for the last couple months, we've had money to go out and buy, eggs and cheese and meat, stuff like that. Stuff that you usually don't get donated, but stuff that tastes really nice.
Excuse me, these are apples, not pears. Go complain. This is the wrong fruit. I asked for apple. Can I do tofu or something?
We already saw this lady too. I'm sorry.
I'm from Toronto.
Yeah, I just had to go check on my dog because we recently got a new dog, and she's still new, so she still has some kind of new dog behavior. So that's what I was checking on.
I could walk around on the streets and there would be like no one else there. Food for a traveling occupation.
Dude, what the hell? Is he giving people those bananas?
Food for a traveling occupation.
I mean, they don't look terrible, but that's pretty bad. Look at this one. That's gross, dude. I would not eat that.
Did I do that?
No. Let's see how this ends. Because I'm not watching this whole
They
thing.
don't need to close the school, that's for sure. No school closed. No school closed. We need every school. Thank you.
What does that mean? No school closed? What? That the guy on their banner right here.
Historic moment where high school students in New York.
That What? Okay, wait, for some reason, when I was saying that, I was like, that's Squidward. That looks like Squidward.
City
I'm
just really
Squidward.
realize that they need to organize themselves. So this is the beginning of their organization, the student organization, you know, for justice, you know, for a proper education.
The students united will never be defeated. The students united will never be defeated.
Wait, were they saying the students united? Well, they're saying people, which is how it normally is.
United. The students united will never be defeated. The students united will never
The students united will never be defeated. What about the people united will never be divided?
What democracy looks like. These are the people united.
Okay, I don't like when they say the people united will never be defeated. It sounds better to say the people united will never be divided. I've heard it both ways. But I guess defeated makes more sense, maybe. Divided is a little more like, okay, you're going for the rhyme there, dude. It's so transparent.
Society. What's up, New York? You guys look like America. It's so beautiful to see you guys out here.
Wait, where have I heard of this guy? Jermaine Williams. Jermaine Williams. Is he famous for something else? Not really, but I have heard of him. Anyway, okay, so I think that about covers anything I really have to say about Occupy. I'll always talk about it again. It comes up a lot. It really informed my worldview in a lot of ways.
I am a man.
And the next thing I want to talk about, because it's about the hour mark, is I want to talk about alternative types of cars. I found this really cool YouTube video.